Pleased now to go face-to-face with Longhorns head coach Charlie Strong, going into his third season there at Texas. Great to see you again, Coach.
Good to see you, Hannah.
So now we have got 80% of the players on your roster that you're starting the season with. These guys are your guys. These are your recruits. What does that mean here going into year 3?
Well, it's really big, and you look at us, Hannah, the last 2 years we've done a great job of recruiting, and I look at the classes that we brought in, but also you don't ever want to forget about the older group that's still there, because our young guys, they're going to provide the depth that we need. But, you know, we go to media day yesterday, and I had Caleb Blewett with me, I had Kent Perkins, I had Boyette with me, and I had Dylan Haynes. And I told him, I said, you know what, you've been here just like we have through these 3 years, and you kind of have helped us lay the foundation. Now it's your leadership is going to take over, because you guys still teach the young guys, and we had to elevate the program. That's what we haven't done the last 2 seasons.
But do you feel like this is the turning point here, that this is the year where you really do have to come in and see all your hard work reflected in wins and losses?
Oh, we have to, and it's a sense of urgency. Our players understand it, but they really want it. When you have a senior class that want to go out the right way, and you see the ownership, now you're seeing them taking ownership within the program. Your program never changes till the players take the ownership, and that's what you're beginning to see now.
All right, so talk to me about this long-standing search for a top quarterback at Texas. Since the days of Colt McCoy, there's a lot of excitement about Shane Buechele, and he's the son of a former Rangers third baseman, Steve Buechele. What does he need to show you to earn the starting job?
You know what I call him right now? I call him a gym rat. He's a guy that is always around the program. Always, anywhere you go, just say, Sunday I was on my way to San Antonio, I walk in, and he's in the game room shooting pool with a wide receiver calling. But he's always, and so we was having a discussion, and he's either shooting pool, playing table tennis, ping pong, but he's all over the place. But he's a young man that some people have that presence about him. He has that presence. And the players, they kind of gravitate to him. But not to say that Swoops and Hurd isn't also doing a good job, but Shane is coming in. He's kind of the new guy just because everybody just feels that sense of urgency at that position, because you look at it, you're right. You talked about Colt, you talk about Vince, and everyone is searching for that next quarterback. And in order for you to get the program right, the quarterback's got to step up and go play.
You've got a new offensive coordinator in Sterling Gilbert, and I know you went with a contingent to get him from Tulsa, get him to come to Austin. Why are you turning to this no-huddle spread offense? What is it that was the impetus for you to make this change?
Well, in the state of Texas, that's what most of the high school coaches, that's their system. And
right? Everybody runs it.
Everybody runs it. So why, when you go out recruiting, you got to have something that will attract the players to your program. And we just felt like we needed something. And with the up-tempo, Sterling does a good job with it. But we're recruiting players that are coming in, and they know the offense already. They're out there in spring practice, and they're calling out their plays because they know that's what they did in high school.
How did you go from, you started signing day at 32nd, and then by the end of signing day, you had the number 10 recruiting class in the country? What happened?
I kind of set that up. I wanted to say, I wanted everybody to think we're at number 32. But you know what happens in recruiting? I'm one of those guys that I like to close late. I don't want to get out there and all of a sudden have all these early commitments, because a lot of times young men just make a reservation, and then you got to hold them to it. But our staff did a great job, and then you look on signing day, just excitement and just player after player after player. But we needed that, and we needed that within our program.
Talk to me about the defense, because you won 2 national championships as a defensive coordinator, and the defense numbers were very disappointing, I'm sure, to you last year. How do you guys change the equation on that side of the ball?
Well, we didn't play very good defense last year. You're right.
That's not your hallmark at all.
No,
right?
And the numbers speak for themselves. But you look at it, and in the recruiting, we went and signed 6 inside big guys. And then you always talk about your recruiting class. We signed 14 linemen, and 6 are on offense, 8 on defense. But you need big guys inside because you need to add depth. And our defensive players, they understand that. But you really have a good, solid player in Malik Jefferson and everything around him. You started 2 freshmen outside that corner when you look at Devontae Davis and Houghton Hill. And then you look at our back end. We're very talented, but we're young. But we just got to play better. We got to get off the field on 3rd down. We're good on 1st and 2nd down. It's 3rd down where people get it.
Okay, speaking of needing improved defense, and you got to need it right off the bat because it's a rematch with Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish are coming into Austin. You coach there, so I mean, you well know what this program is about. 38-3 last year in South Bend. What is it going to take to flip the script there as they come onto your home turf?
Well, you look at last season, and I look at that game, and you cannot allow a team to be balanced when they play against you. And I think Notre Dame rushed the ball for 52 times for 300 yards rushing, and that's where they made their mark because they were more physical than us at the point of attack. And that's what we can't do. And you look at that game coming back, and it's going to be a game with a lot of energy. It's going to be so exciting. But I'm happy now they're coming to Austin. And they're a very good football team. They return a lot of starters. And you look at two quarterbacks that they have coming back are the two guys that led them last season. So it's going to be a big challenge for us.
You look at national expectations for Texas, but it starts within the state of Texas and the fact that the Longhorns have been pushed by the other prominent football programs there in that state. The easy narrative says that with the problems at Baylor and with the issues at Texas A&M, that should help to elevate the Longhorns. How do you see that?
Well, the only thing we can do is really look at our own program because we have our own issues, and we do. We need to elevate our program. We do need that needs to happen. But the only way it's going to happen, you got to go out, you got to recruit really good players, which we're doing. You got to have players with good skill and also with good character. But it comes down to the ownership. It comes down to the passion. It comes down to the drive. It comes down to the determination. But it just comes down to us making sure that when we take the field, that make sure your players are prepared. And it is all about our coaches. I tell them all the time, you're the head coach of your position, but we just got to get our players to go play.
There's so much that you've done to change the culture of the program. You went in, you wanted to impose your core values. Players have left the program. You've done all sorts of things from, not allowing the players to do the hook 'em horns to taking it off the helmets, making them earn their right to be a Texas football player. What sort of cultural shift have you seen actually happen after all these things you tried to implement in the last couple of years?
You know what has happened now is that I don't really have to say a lot. When you first come in, you have to say a lot because you got to really get them going. But I let the players now, they speak for me. And when I was talking about just the leadership of a Tim Cole and the leadership of a Kent Perkins, Kent doesn't say much, but just his actions, the way he carries himself. And that's what you're beginning to see now within the program. Because even when we start recruiting a guy will come up and tell you, say, I don't know, Coach, I don't know if he's going to be what you want now. He's not going to be the right fit for you. So we probably need to let him go somewhere else. But you see that within our players. And now when you start seeing it within the players, as a coach, you can kind of sit back. You can still manage it, right, but also you let them take over.
And yet there are times when you have to be the voice. You have to be the leader. And I know that you brought your team together last week to talk about all the recent events here in our country, especially those which have touched you so much in your home state of Texas there in Dallas. What did you tell your players?
Well, last Thursday, we had a team meeting, and I said to our players, I said, it's all about us uniting. We have a platform, but we have to have the right voice, and we have to say the right things. So you have to be careful about what you say on Twitter. But also, we know this, that our voice carries a lot of weight. And so when we're out there speaking, it's all about us just being together, unite together. Because you do. You see, I was in Dallas on Monday, and I went by the police station there just to let them know that, I stand behind what they do. And my thoughts and prayers are with them. But also, you look at what happened in Minnesota. You look at what happened in Baton Rouge. But this happened all around us. And what we can't tend to forget about is that what happened in Orlando. We are a country, and the only way things are going to change, the race relations are always, they've been there, and that's not going to change. But we can't be afraid to speak up, and it's all about us. We just unite together, because if we unite together and we stand together, it's amazing what we can change, and those changes can happen. But as athletes, we have a platform, we have a strong voice don't be afraid to speak up. And I tell our players that, if something is bothering you and you don't understand, come and see me. I'll talk to you about it. I think I have a little more age on a lot of you guys.
A lot of experience.
And a lot of experience. But we just had to be smart about how do we handle things, because change is going to happen. But the only way change is going to happen, it's got to be dialogue and it's got to be communication. And we can't be afraid to say what we want to say.
Yeah, well said, Coach. Charlie Strong, really appreciate it. Thanks for your perspective. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we hope you have a great season. And I would say good luck against Notre Dame, but, being a Notre Dame grad,
I know that's hard for you. I know that's very hard.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Coach.
Thank you.